Your car may not be broken. It may just need to relearn. If your engine shakes at a stoplight, the gas mileage suddenly gets worse. The throttle feels delayed, or the check engine light keeps coming and going. Most people think the same thing. Something expensive is about to happen. A bad sensor, a fuel problem, a transmission issue, a mechanic bill they were not ready for. But before you pay anyone, there are a few simple ECU reset and relearn steps you can try first. Some take 5 minutes, some need a cheap scanner, some are completely free, and one mistake at the end can make your car fail inspection even after the car feels perfectly fine. So in this video, I'll show you 7 ECU reset methods, when to use each one, and the exact point where you should stop resetting and start diagnosing. Because the goal is not to erase problems. The goal is to find out whether your car only needs a reset or whether it is trying to warn you about a real fault. Method 7. Battery disconnect reset. Let's start with the one almost everyone has heard of, the battery disconnect reset. This is the simple version of turning the car's brain off and back on again. Use this method if your car recently had a weak battery, a dead battery, a battery replacement, rough idle, or weird throttle response after sitting for a while. Here is the idea. Your ECU is the computer that helps control the engine. It learns how the car runs over time. Idle speed, throttle feel, fuel adjustment, and small driving patterns. Most of the time, that learning helps. But sometimes, the car learns around bad conditions. A weak battery, lots of short trips, a dirty throttle body, a problem that was already fixed. And after a while, the car keeps acting like the old problem is still there. A battery reset can force some of that old learned behavior to clear. Here is how to do it safely. Turn the car completely off. Take the key out. Turn off the lights, radio, AC, and anything else electrical. Open the hood and find the battery. You will see 2 terminals. The positive terminal usually has a plus sign and a red cable. The negative terminal usually has a minus sign and a black cable. Disconnect the negative cable first. Do not start with the positive. The negative cable is safer to remove first because it lowers the chance of a spark if your tool touches metal. Once the negative cable is loose, move it away from the battery post so it cannot touch again. Now wait 15 to 30 minutes. Some people press the brake pedal for a few seconds to help drain leftover power in the system. You can do that, but do not treat it like a magic button. The waiting time is still important. After that, reconnect the cable and tighten it. Now start the car. Do not rev it right away. Let it idle for a few minutes. The RPM may move up and down at first. That can be normal. The car is trying to settle itself again. One warning. Some cars may lose clock settings, radio presets, window auto-up settings, or security memory. If your car is newer or has an older radio that needs a code, check the owner's manual first. And remember this. If the problem comes back, do not keep disconnecting the battery over and over. That means the car is probably seeing a real fault. But there is one problem with the battery reset. It clears power, but it does not tell you what the car was complaining about. For that, you need the next method. Method 6. OBD2 scanner reset. If you only buy one cheap tool for your car, make it an OBD2 scanner. This little scanner can save you a lot of guessing. You do not need to be a mechanic. You just need to know one rule. Read the codes before you erase them. Most cars have an OBD2 port under the dashboard, near the driver's side. It is usually close to your knee area. Plug the scanner in. Turn the key to on, but do not start the engine. On some push-button cars, you enter ignition mode without pressing the brake. The scanner will connect to the car's computer and pull the stored codes. Now stop. Do not press clear yet. This is where most people mess up. They see a check engine light. They plug in a scanner. They hit clear codes. The light goes off, and they think the car is fixed. Maybe, but maybe not. That code was a clue. Take a picture of it. Write it down. If your scanner shows freeze frame data, save that too. That data can show what was happening when the fault appeared. Engine temperature, RPM, vehicle speed, load. Sometimes that is the difference between a real diagnosis and a random guess. After you save the codes, then you can clear them. If the light stays off and the car runs fine, the issue may have been temporary or already fixed. But if the light comes back, that is not bad news. That is useful news. It means the car is not just remembering an old problem. It is seeing the problem again. There is one more thing to know. Some codes clear easily, some do not. Permanent codes usually cannot be erased with a scanner or by disconnecting the battery. The car has to test itself and confirm the problem is gone, so do not fight the scanner. Use it like a truth teller. If the code comes back, stop resetting and start checking the real cause. Now, the scanner is smart. But maybe you do not have one yet. Or maybe you want a reset that is more targeted than disconnecting the whole battery. That brings us to method 5. Method 5. Pulling the ECU fuse. This method is useful when you do not want to disconnect the entire battery. Maybe you do not want to lose your radio settings. Maybe you do not want to mess with the security system. Maybe you only want to cut power to the engine computer circuit. That is where the ECU fuse reset can help. First, turn the car off. Key out. Do not work inside the fuse box with the ignition on. Open the hood and find the fuse box. It is usually a black plastic box near the battery. Open the cover and look at the diagram inside. You are looking for labels like EQ, ECM, PCM, EFI, ENG, or sometimes ING. Do not guess. Some cars have more than one fuse related to the engine computer. Some fuses control fuel injection. Some control ignition. Some control other modules. Pulling the wrong fuse can create new warning lights. So take a picture of the fuse box before touching anything. Use the plastic fuse puller if your car has one. Pull the correct fuse straight out. Set it somewhere obvious, like the fuse box cover. Do not stick it into another slot. Do not flip it around as a memory trick. Just keep it safe and clear. Wait 10 to 15 minutes, then reinstall the fuse fully. Make sure it sits tight. A loose fuse can cause weird problems that look much worse than they really are. Start the car and let it idle. If the issue is caused by a temporary ECU state, the car may smooth out after a few minutes. If the problem returns, again, that is your answer. The ECU is not confused. The car is reporting something real. This method is cleaner than a full battery disconnect, but it still means opening the hood. If you are sitting in a parking lot and you do not want to touch the battery or fuse box, there is one easier thing to try first. Method 4. Key cycle reset. This one is often explained wrong. People call it an ECU reset. That is not always true. On many cars, turning the key on and off does not erase deep computer memory, but it can help some systems wake up, recheck themselves, prime the fuel system, or reinitialize after low voltage. Think of it as a soft reset, not a full repair. Here is the basic version. Sit in the driver's seat, turn everything off, radio off, ACC off, headlights off. Now turn the key to on, but do not start the engine. Wait about 10 seconds. You may hear the fuel pump. You may hear clicks. You may hear small movement from the throttle body. That is normal. Turn the key back off. Wait a few seconds. Repeat that cycle 3 times. Then start the engine. Let it idle. Do not touch the gas right away. On some cars, this can help after a weak battery or a small electronic hiccup. On other cars, nothing happens. That does not mean you did it wrong. It just means your car does not respond to that kind of reset. The value of this method is simple. It is quick. It is free. It does not require a scanner. And it is safe if you do not force anything. But some vehicles have a much more specific version of this. A sequence of key turns, pedal presses, and waiting. That is the one people call the pedal dance. Method 3. Pedal dance and relearn sequences. This is the method that feels like a cheat code. Turn the key on, press the gas pedal, release it, wait. Press again. Watch the check engine light blink, start the car, and suddenly the idle smooths out. On some vehicles, this is real. Some manufacturers have specific relearn procedures for idle, throttle position, or accelerator pedal position. But here is the important part. There is no one pedal dance that works on every car. That is where bad advice spreads fast. One person says, "This worked on my Nissan." Another person tries it on a Toyota. Then someone else tries it on a Ford. And now everyone is confused. These sequences depend on the year, model, engine, and sometimes even the exact software version. So use this method carefully. Search for your exact vehicle, not just the brand, your exact year, your exact model, your exact engine. Look for terms like idle relearn, throttle relearn, accelerator pedal position relearn, or idle air volume relearn. If you find the right procedure, follow the timing exactly. Some require the engine to be warm. Some require the engine to be cold. Some require the ACC to be off. Some require the steering wheel to be straight. Some need a scan tool. If you rush the timing, nothing may happen. If you follow the wrong procedure, the car may not relearn correctly. But when it works, this method can be very useful after cleaning the throttle body, replacing the battery, fixing an idle issue, or disconnecting power. Here's the simple way to think about it. The ECU controls the engine, but it also learns the small details of your car, how much air it needs at idle, where the throttle plate rests, how the pedal responds. After a reset or repair, those details may need to be learned again. The pedal dance tells the car, start learning from here. But even after a successful relearn, your job is not done. This is where many people think they broke the car. They reset it, they start it, the idle moves around. The car feels strange, and they panic. Usually, they skipped the next step. Method 2. Idle, relearn, and drive cycle. This is the part most people do not do. They reset the ECU, then immediately drive hard. Or they start the car, see the RPM move up and down, and think the reset failed. But after a reset, the car may need time to relearn how to idle and how to drive smoothly. Start simple. After any reset, start the engine and let it idle. Do not turn on the AC. Do not turn on the headlights if you do not need them. Do not turn on the rear defroster. Just let the engine run. Give it a few minutes. Let it warm up. The RPM may rise. It may drop. It may hunt a little. That can be normal. The car is trying to find its stable idle again. Once the idle settles, drive gently. Not aggressively, no full throttle, no hard braking, no racing down the street to test it. Drive like you are teaching the car again. Start with slow city driving, then steady cruising, then some light acceleration, then smooth deceleration. This helps the ECU relearn normal conditions. It also helps emission self-tests run in the background. And this matters a lot if you have inspection coming up, because after a reset, your check engine light may be off, but your car may not be ready for inspection yet. The computer needs to run its own tests again. Some cars become ready quickly. Some need multiple trips. Some need specific conditions. So here is the rule. If you reset the ECU, do not go straight to emissions inspection. Drive first, then use a scanner to check readiness. If the scanner says not ready, the inspection station will probably say the same thing. This is one of the biggest traps in this whole video. But before we get to that final bonus, there is one more method. The one you should not try at home unless you really know what you are doing. Method 1. Dealer reflash and advanced reset. Sometimes, your car does not need another reset. It needs updated software. That sounds dramatic, but it is normal. Modern cars run on software. The engine computer, transmission computer, and other modules use programming from the manufacturer. Sometimes the manufacturer releases updates to fix rough idle, false codes, shifting problems, cold start issues, or emissions monitor problems. A battery disconnect cannot install new software. A cheap scanner cannot update factory programming. That requires dealer equipment or a properly equipped shop. This is called a reflash, reprogramming, software update, or calibration update. You do not need this for every small problem. Do not run to the dealer just because your idle feels slightly rough. Try the simple steps first. Read the codes, check the battery. Make sure the terminals are tight. Look for obvious issues. Do the proper relearn. Drive the car normally, but know when to stop. If the same code keeps coming back after the repair, stop clearing it. If the transmission shifts badly after a reset, stop guessing. If readiness monitors never complete, stop driving around blindly. If your exact model has a known software issue, a reflash may save you from replacing parts that were never bad. This is where a good shop is worth paying. Not because they clear a light. You can clear a light yourself. You pay them when the car needs a tool or software access you do not have. That is the difference. A smart car owner is not someone who avoids mechanics forever. A smart car owner knows when a reset is enough and when the car needs real diagnosis. Bonus: the inspection trap. This is the mistake that catches a lot of people. They see a check engine light, they clear it. The light turns off. They drive straight to inspection, and they fail. Not because the car is definitely broken, because the computer is not ready. After a battery disconnect, fuse reset, or scanner clear, your car has to run its emissions self-tests again. These are called readiness monitors. You do not need to remember that term. Just remember this. The inspection station does not only ask, is the light off? It also asks, has the car tested itself yet? If the answer is no, you can fail even with no check engine light. That feels unfair, but it makes sense. The car has not proven that the emission system is working yet. So do not clear codes right before inspection. Fix the problem first. Clear the codes only when it makes sense. Then drive the car through normal conditions. City driving, steady cruising, highway speed, idle time, smooth deceleration. Then plug in your scanner and check readiness. If it says ready, you have a much better chance. If it says not ready, wait. Drive more. Do not waste the inspection trip. This one tip can save you time, stress, and a failed test. So those are 7 ECU reset and relearn methods every regular driver should know. Battery disconnect, OBD2 scanner reset, EQ fuse reset, key cycle reset, pedal dance relearn, idle relearn and drive cycle, and dealer reflash when the problem goes deeper than a simple reset. The big lesson is this: do not reset blindly. If the car only had old learned data, a reset may help. If the problem comes back, the car is trying to tell you something real. That is when you stop clearing codes and start looking for the cause. And before inspection, remember the trap. The check engine light being off is not enough. The car has to be ready. If this helped you avoid a bad mechanic bill or a failed inspection, subscribe for more simple car fixes that regular drivers can actually use. And next, watch this video on the simple ACC reset steps that can make your car's air conditioning blow colder after a battery reset.